Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, welcome back to episode 3 of RSL Rowan Sports Lounge. I'm here today with God knows how many years it's been. I can't lie with you. It's my friend Jay.
It's
You
been
know
a
what?
minute, gang.
Yeah. I call him Jordan, but y'all need to call him Jay for good reason.
What's up, y'all?
Um,
Glad to be on here.
It's fantastic to obviously have you on the podcast, man.
For
I
sure.
wanted you on here at least once or twice, but this could potentially be a co-host role for you. So I'm super excited for you to be here today.
Thank
Um,
you, man.
but I'd say just to get the cat out of the bag, we're gonna jump into some NFL picks for our Sunday slate games. Um, coming into uh my picks at least for Sunday. I obviously have the Colts taking the win in the Berlin game against the Falcons. Even though it's not their home turf or anything like that, neither team has home field advantage at all. It's not an atmosphere they play in, and I'd say it's an easy dub for the Colts, especially after the trade with Sauce Gardner. I'm not sure if there's like a potential where he doesn't start because maybe like NFL players can't start after they get traded and then they have to play an international game straight after because that probably just messes up a lot of things and they probably have to change a lot of information around. And traveling internationally is already a tough deal enough for most people. So I guarantee you it's way hard for NFL players. I got
Yeah.
Cleveland winning against the Jets at away, and then I got Carolina beating up the Saints pretty badly. Bryce is back. It's good to obviously have him. He broke out a little bit last season, and now you can kind of see what he's been developing over the past offseason and how he's actually proved that he's QB1 instead of, having to get a lesson taught to him by the Red Rifle himself, Andy Dalton, every now and then. Um, but I got Tampa Bay beating up the Patriots at their at Raymond James. I'd say Baker Mayfield, Emeka, Mike um, Mike Evans obviously isn't on, playing, but Emeka is. I'd say I see a lot of potential in Tez Johnson. What I don't see is, Bucky Irving coming back anytime soon. He's probably done for the season, as far as I'm concerned. Um, he was a go for my fantasy league when it was a start, but it sucks that he's injured now. He's probably one of my favorite running backs in the league right now. I got the
Mm.
Ravens. I know it's hard to believe. I'd pick the Ravens for anything. I got the Ravens beating up on the Vikings. I got the Bills winning against the Dolphins at uh, Rock. It's the
Hard Rock.
Hard Rock Casino Stadium. I got the Giants getting beaten up by the Bears at Soldier Field. The Bears,
Mm.
they've got themselves rolling, especially after. I'm going to be very honest with you. I still got PTSD from that game this past week. It's awful. It was awful
Bro,
what they did to us. It's
bro, we
bad.
was yeah. We'll talk about that later. That's for
Yeah,
later.
yeah. We're gonna get. Don't worry. We're gonna get into that. We got the Jaguars losing to the Texans um, at First Energy Stadium, I believe it's called. I got the Cardinals losing against the Seahawks at. I'm just gonna call it Lumen Field, man. It's always been Lumen Field.
What? We just call
Uh,
it the
yeah,
earthquake field.
I don't
Earthquake
even
field.
know
We just
what
call it
stadium it is anymore.
bro.
I got the Lions winning against the Commanders. I got the Rams winning against the 49ers. I got the
Yeah.
Chargers winning against the Steelers. It's probably going to be a way closer game than I'd like to admit,
In
considering the
prime
Steelers
time.
have been doing very well, but so have the Chargers, and they're picking themselves back up.
Mm-hmm.
And the Eagles win a very tough fought game against the Packers in the other 8 p.m. game of
Prime
Sunday.
time.
Oh yeah, and this one's on ESPN. But Jordan,
All right.
I know you've got something to shake up the the Sunday slate picks. Let's hear it from you.
All right. So for my Sunday slate, I got the Colts over the Falcons. I got the Browns over the Jets. I think the Jets have been struggling a lot, and just the Browns. I think the Browns gonna take care of business. I got Carolina going over the Saints. I got the Pats over the Bucks. I got the Vikings over Baltimore. I got the Vikes over Baltimore. I got Buffalo over Miami. Josh Allen gonna do his thing. I got the Bears over New York. The Bears have been rolling. They've been taking care of business. Got the Texans over the Jaguars. I got the Seahawks over the Cardinals. The Cardinals has been struggling, and the Seahawks is going to take care of that business. Got the Lions over the Washington over Washington. I feel like that's going to be a good game. But if I'm not mistaken, is Washington's quarterback? Remind me his name again. I'm sorry, I can see his face.
Jaden
Jaden Daniels.
Daniels.
Is he injured?
Yeah, he got injured again. He broke his arm in Seattle last week on prime time. It's very unfortunate. I swear, I'm getting flashbacks of RG3 right now. This is the
Yeah.
third time he's been injured this season alone. Keep in mind
For
that.
real?
Yes,
This third time? Oh,
he
all
had an
right.
ankle injury, I think, in either week 2 or 3. He came back in, I believe, week 5 after Mariota started over him. And then he got injured again the same week. Mario got put back in, came back, and then he broke his arm.
Dang. Yeah. Lions. I got LA over San Francisco. I got Chargers over Pittsburgh in primetime game. Like you said, I feel like this game gonna be one of the ones nail biter. I got the Eagles over the Packers.
I
And that's
honestly
less.
respect your picks personally. Like a lot of your picks that you chose, they could go either way for the games that you switched up on, especially
Yeah.
with Pats, Bucks, Ravens, Vikings, Lamar coming back. He just has his first game back just this past weekend, and a lot of the defense, I'm pretty sure, is injured. I think a lot of their D line is injured so right now, so that could be a weak point for them, especially if the Vikings are going to commit to the run game, such as with Aaron Jones. And I'd say that it's very hard to really predict these games, but just based off of like their performance so far in the season, you can kind of get an idea. But
Yeah.
it's always up in the air for a debate and discussion because of the fact that like it's not just college football where we have upset games. It's not just them. It's also the NFL because this stuff can happen too. I I I'm so mad about, the Jets getting their first win, but I realized for those who don't know, I used to be a Rams fan. This guy dogged me for God knows how many years it's been. And, I think the best moment that happened was when we gave the Jets their first win back in 2020 when they were the only team that didn't have a win yet at that point in the
Bro.
season.
Bro.
That was
And
embarrassing. And
like a
yet
couple weeks ago, bro. That bro, that was the worst. I don't even know how to explain. I can't even put it into words how like irritated I was. I'm over here watching. I'm driving. I look at the app. I look at ESPN app. I see the score. I'm like, okay, Bengals in the business. And then I get back home. My mom's watching it. I watch. I go to the counter, bro. They're down. I'm like, what dog? And I knew it was just. I knew it was the defense. But that's for later. I can't even get. I gotta save that for later. I
we have
really want to
so
get.
much pent up rage right now. Like it is actually infuriating
It's
what
crazy how
happened.
it's raised because I don't even like pay attention to the I do
I've
like,
never
but it's
been
like
this
I don't
mad
have my
at the
team.
Bengals in years. I don't know how long it's been.
Maybe because it's like we know the fixes that need to be made, and like we
And
know
yet
like
we
it's just,
can't get them.
yeah, I don't know, but we gotta save that anger for later.
Let's try and switch up on something else. We actually got a way too early mock draft up, and the Bengals, unsurprisingly, with their performance, are in the top 10 right now, potentially for picks right now. For
All
me
right,
personally, Jordan's got a way different mock draft. It starts off kind of the same, but then it floats a little bit off path. at like in the middle, and then the end, you kind of understand. We kind of bring it back in with what uh he wants for the certain teams that are currently in the top 10 right now. I've got currently Fernando Mendoza, obviously getting picked number one. Tyler Shuck, that that's a disaster. No, we don't. I don't care if he was a second round pick. I don't care if he's second round value. This is like talking about Jalen Rager being a first round pick. Like I don't care if he's first round, second round, third round talent. Like it doesn't matter. You wasted a pick, and you just got to deal with the consequences of that. And Spencer Rattler, like he's decent, but he's not ready at all, and he's definitely not going to be that sort of at that sort of caliber. Maybe he could have the sort of role where Daniel Jones getting traded, Sam Darnold getting traded onto both good teams, and they just start popping off. Especially with Baker Mayfield, he had good years in Cleveland, and then he started falling off. Browns gave up on him, got traded to LA, started popping off, and then got traded to Tampa, and now he's basically the savior of Tampa right now, and he's now making a potential Super Bowl candidates for the season.
Yeah.
I've got Ruben Bain at number two, out of my edge out of Miami for the Titans. I'd say wide receiver is one of the biggest issues right now for the Titans, especially when they got most of their receivers injured, and a lot of them are they're kicking the can soon. Like Tennessee is definitely the place you go where you want to end your career as a wide receiver. You got, I'm pretty sure you got Randy Moss as one of them, and then there's Julio Jones as well is definitely another one. He
He
didn't
did
end
go to
his career
Tennessee.
there, but he definitely fell off a cliff as soon as he got to Tennessee.
He did go to Tennessee. I forgot about that.
That I was more or less surprised that he even went to Tennessee because AJ Brown was still a Titan at the time, but I think they still needed help. And Traylon Burks, he's terrible still. I'm pretty sure he got traded too. He's on a practice squad right now. I can't remember for who. I think it's for the Chiefs. I'll edit it and correct it in post if I'm wrong. But I would have taken a wide receiver, but they just need so much help on the defense. It's like embarrassing as to how bad it is. It's not as bad as the Bengals. It's not as bad as the Bengals, but
I don't think it get worse than the Bengals. I'm not
it
gonna lie.
can't get much worse. But they need help themselves. Their Bengals aren't the only team in the league with bad defense right now, and it definitely shows with the way the Titans have been performing on that side of the ball so far this season. Dante Moore is going to the Jets. Argue with the brick wall. I don't care. The Jets need a quarterback. I thought Justin Fields would potentially save the season, possibly save the Jets organization. I was completely wrong. The dude's more fit as a mobile quarterback. Probably he's probably more of a rotational piece, I'd say, for Justin Fields. Like he's very good at scrambling out of the pocket and actually finding, slots open, even if it looks like he isn't. But he's decent at passing and stuff like that, but his QBR and his accuracy can be pitiful at times. And I can't have that as a QB if I want that on a team I'm rooting for, especially if you're a Jets fan. I don't know how people root for that team. New Jersey is a godless land. I mean, honestly. Um, I got for number four. I got Caleb Downs going to the Dolphins. The Dolphins need defense as well. Minka Fitzpatrick. They thought that would be the answer for them. A return to form for Minka, going back to the team that he was initially drafted by, even though he got traded for no reason at all back in 2019. I still don't understand why that happened. Um, Spencer Fano goes to the Giants at number five. The Giants need offensive line, especially with what happened with Cam Scadaboo. Even though it wasn't directly the offensive line's fault, if you want to obviously prioritize Cam Scadaboo as your main point of offense, then you are going to need a good O line. Evan Neal is I actually correctly predicted them in a Twitter post I did a few years back that nobody saw. I think somebody actually replied to it like a year later, and they were just like, "You got both these picks correct." Like I didn't get them in order correctly. I don't think, but I had both Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal both going to the Giants with the two picks that they had in the first back then. Um, but at number six, I got Jordan Tyson going to the Browns. The Browns need desperate wide receiver help. Jerry G's been only catching like half the passes he's been getting, and that's definitely not a wide receiver I'd want on my team. I don't think it's a wide receiver anybody would want on the team. I'm not surprised the Broncos traded him. They probably saw it early enough, when he was actually still being regarded as an underrated wide receiver at the time. But I don't see him actually being the future for the Browns receiving core. And I see David Njoku, the rookie tight end that they also have. I can't remember his name. I'll put it up in post, but they need wide receiver help as well. They can't just be relying on their tight ends just to get them in the end zone. I got Ty Simpson um, going to the Raiders. Geno Smith is good, but I think after he lost the weapons, after he got traded from Seattle, it's he started showing, signs of his old self, but I can't really blame the guy. I mean, when you realistically have only Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer at times, depending on what formation they're in, and Ashton Genty, but you don't really have any wide receiver help. Also, one topic we're not going to cover today, but I would like to cover it really quickly. Jacoby Myers to the Jags being traded from the Raiders. That's definitely not helping them. Yeah, that whoever is getting drafted to the Raiders, I guarantee you it's a quarterback. I have a feeling it's a quarterback. Jordan, I know you picked somebody else. Yeah, I know you didn't go quarterback for the Raiders, but I personally see them going quarterback. I just they aren't going to have any wide receiver help. Whoever is going to be QB next season, whoever's still going to be QB right now, I don't see them, you know, having any help. I got Francis uh, Maligoa. That's how you pronounce his name. I did not practice that. Going to the Bengals, he's an offensive lineman out of Miami. We need O line help, not just defensive help, but it all depends on, who gets taken, who's the best scheme fit for the Bengals right now. It all just depends on who takes who and who's the best schematic fit available at the Bengals position because they could trade up, they could trade down depending on where they're at. Like this is a no trade mock draft right now. That we could obviously include some later in, like after the college football season, where we can actually see where the draft rankings are actually going to be for like the top 10 at least, because when the college football season is done, that's when most of the NFL season is done. That's when we're going to get like actually good rankings. I got Washington taking Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. Uh, Washington, while they might need O line, they've got one of the better O lines in the NFL right now. They might not have the best, they might not have the worst. They're kind of in the middle right now when it comes to offensive linemen. Um, but I'd say they need defense. They're giving up way too many points for what it's worth, especially in close cut games like they've been having. And for number 10, I can't believe I'm announcing a Ravens pick still. Um, I got TJ Parker going to the Ravens out of Clemson. TJ Parker's pretty good so far this season. He may not have, a lot of sacks or anything like that as a edge rusher, but the versatility that he's able to, perform on, and the way he actually like just pummels through the O line against whoever they're playing right now is absolutely insane. I'd say the Ravens would probably go for somebody more versatile rather than somebody who's just tacking on stats like sacks and stuff like that. Because Trayvon Walker is one of those guys who does that. He had like 9 sacks last year, and he's still being regarded as one of the more underrated or just in the middle kind of for rating an edge rusher slash linebacker. But Jordan, I'm gonna hand it over to you for your top 10. I want to hear it from you.
All right. So for my top 10, number one, same as Ron, I got Fernando Mendoza going to the Saints. I got Ruben Bain. I got him going to Tennessee. I got Dante Moore going to the Jets, like you said. This QB situation right now for him, it's not really working out well. I think they want to get a rookie in. We'll see how that goes for the Jets. Ty Simpson, I got them going to the Dolphins for number 4. Jordan Tyson, receiver, got him going to New York. Think New York needs, some
Shaking it up a little bit.
yeah, it's gonna shake up a little bit. Spencer Fano, I got him going to the Browns. I got David Bailey, edge, going to the Raiders. I got Caleb Downs going to the Bengals at 8. The Bengals need defense. They need young guys. Um, Caleb Downs has been proving himself at Ohio State. I think he's going to go in there. I think the Bengals should get him at that piece. That'll help the defense out. And they're going to make some off-season moves with the defense. So we're going to see. For number 9, I got T.J. Parker going to the Washington Commanders. And Keldrick Falk for number 10 going to the Ravens. And that's my top 10.
So, I can completely understand, going QB for Miami. I'd say it's completely understandable, especially with how Tua's been performing so far this season. Like, I don't think it's just the head coach, which is Mike McDaniels. He's not that great. He's he has spurts of greatness here and there, but there's also games where he's just like he completely pummels into a wall. I'm starting to wonder if it's just the injuries that just piled up for him that just kind of made him lose that sense of like focus, clarity that most QBs have because obviously it strikes you like after like a couple of hits and a couple of bad injuries, it starts getting to people's mental states, especially
You
in
talking about
sports.
Tua?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's dangerous.
yeah, I'd say it's more or less like either you retire right now or we're going to pick up a new quarterback and we're probably going to trade you, but it's probably not going to be for much. And we want to
Yeah,
be
I think
honest for you out of the front office.
yeah, that's a very that's a deep topic to talk about because really, if I was him, and I'm not in the NFL, but how many concussions he have? Like three or
He
four.
had three. He had three.
I And the way they be happening, I the best thing you got to just think about your family.
And
Think
it
about
gets
your
to a
family.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I also noticed that you picked Jordan Tyson for the Giants. I can agree with that pick as well. Uh, Mainly because of the fact that like Wandale Robinson's good, Malik Neighbors is good. I just think they need an extra wide receiver. I think Wandale Robinson is more fit at wide receiver 3, more or less out of this, and like they might just need a slot receiver itself, because Malik Neighbors is more of a deep threat, in my opinion. You see that guy going deep, he's got the ball. He's going for six. He's got it in the end zone. If he beats you early, then it's over.
Yeah,
He's one of those wide receivers who broke out early last season, and he's been going off until he got injured. Unfortunately, I wish I would have gotten to see a little bit more of his sophomore season, but it's the best things are worth waiting for.
yeah,
So I have the ability to wait for him coming back into next season, hopefully, if recovery goes well, at least for him, because it can all depend. If it doesn't go well for him, if he has something else happen to him, because it's definitely possible. Um, but I'd say that Giants right now definitely need another weapon at the wide receiver core. Spencer Fennell makes sense as well for you, especially with the Browns needing O lineman. It's when you're trying to put in Gabriel and you're trying to utilize him, like I'd say Dylan Gabriel doesn't get enough credit for what it's worth. Like obviously his accuracy is a little bit lower, but you don't expect much out of a QB his rookie season. He's just getting into the league. He's learning the ropes of what it's like to convert from college into the NFL. And it's the same thing from like high school into college. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to look pretty, your first go around, but your second or third, you might see some improvements here and there. And then your fourth is probably where you start leaping and it just taking, big steps. David Bailey, I'd say, is one of the more underrated players in the draft right now. He's got 11 and a half sacks right now for Texas Tech. I think that's absolutely insane from the way the season is, from where we are in the season right now itself. Like we aren't even like done, and we're just getting our first look at some college football playoff like actual rankings right now. And I'd say with the position he's at, he definitely should be ranked much higher than where he's currently at. I'm pretty sure he's ranked more or less at a mid 20s into the late first. Um, I got and Caleb Downs personally for the Bengals. I see that. I if Caleb Downs is available when the Bengals are picking, I immediately go for him. I don't care if we need a line or anything like that. That dude's a generational pick right now.
Yeah, that's
And
a if, a big if he's even open.
yeah,
But we don't know where the Bengals are going to end up. I'm not going to lie.
yeah, like
So
if the Bengals keep getting wins, if Joe gets some wins and all that sort of stuff at the end of the season, it could obviously they could drop out of the top 10, and that's very much possible. Like the Ravens right now with Lamar and stuff like that, I don't see them in the top 10 after this week. Like there's not a chance. Um,
you think he'll take it in his own hands?
yeah, after what he did
Yo,
last week, he had four tutties, I'm pretty sure. Um, But the funny thing that I did when I was editing these graphics, TJ Parker and Keldrick Falk, I thought I had to switch, the where they went to college and stuff. I just had to switch around where they were picked. Not, I don't know how I messed that up.
yeah,
But thankfully I noticed it before I, actually made it harder for myself to actually fix um up the mock draft for your graphic, which I
yeah,
thought was honestly a lifesaver for me. Took a lot of It would have taken a lot of time out of my day, a lot more time, and we wouldn't have been able to play Fortnite.
man. We gotta play the game, man. It's been a
Yeah,
long day.
it's been a long day at work.
Gotta play the game. Man, he
Um,
whooped me in college football. No, I ain't gonna. Nah, let me say myself some grace. He didn't whoop me. He was
oh
cheating. I
yeah,
ain't gonna lie. That
sure,
game was
sure.
cheating. That game be cheating me, bro. That game cheats me,
I,
bro.
I will admit
I was like,
there were
listen,
some questionable picks that happened where I was just like that really should have been a catch for you on
and then I
offense.
would get picked, but I make the most impossible catch, like dog. Like,
And then I started making the most impossible plays in the world. And I had like four interceptions after like the first game we played. And I was just like, how did I have four interceptions? I don't remember even throwing four picks, let alone two.
yeah. I was like, I told him, I said it. What I say, Ron? I said I've never felt this game make me so mad in my life. I forgot how bad this game made me feel.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
remember. I
bro.
remember. I started predicting what was going to happen, and it actually started becoming true.
Bro, he
The
predict, bro.
second
So he
game
was
we
like,
played, it started
yes, he
looking
was
like the
like,
first.
he was like, he was like, what'd he say? What'd you say? You were like, you gonna score, I'm gonna score, you're gonna score
No,
again,
I'm
and
going
I'm
to
gonna pick you
intercept
for a
it
time.
when you were having like the drive after we both started scoring seven and stuff like that. I'm going to intercept it. I'm going to run it. I'm going to like run it in and stuff like that. And that both happened.
Next time.
I believe you were Marshall. I was San Diego State.
When was this? Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
second
that was the
game,
second game we played. Yeah,
bro. That
we
game,
have
bro. We
random
both.
teams,
We just said, yeah, let's go for it. I was so tired of that stuff, bro.
and then
I haven't played the
we
game in like
still
a
got
year,
off, and I'm pretty sure my Wi-Fi bugged out after that.
bro. And my PlayStation kept overheating.
Yeah, that was so bad. Um,
Oh,
but anyways, we're gonna get into probably one of my favorite topics for today's podcast, the Sauce Gardner trade.
this is crazy. I'm
I
not gonna
have
lie, that came out of left field.
never in my life would I believe that Sauce Gardner would be a trade candidate for the Jets, especially with the fact that
After
he
they
is the.
paid him,
Yeah, they did. They did. It just wasn't for much. And it wasn't going into effect until 2026. So I feel like that should have been like an indicator for some people, but nobody noticed it, I guess. It was one of those things, I saw on the Pat McAfee show, one of the Colts front office agents texted him and they were just like, we're going to be shaking things up for the trade deadline today. You're going to see a lot of stuff happen. This is beyond anything I anticipated for the Colts. Like I thought, they wouldn't be making too many moves and all that sort of stuff with the way that their season is going so far. I'd say like as of right now, they don't really need much more. But no, they got what they needed. They got more. They're loaded at cornerback right now, and I'm just in disbelief all around.
I want to see how this ends up for the Colts.
Yeah, I want to see how this personally ends up with the Jets because they got a first round for this year, they got a first round for next year, and they got Adonai Mitchell, which definitely helps.
The receiver core.
Yeah, it definitely helps up that receiver core because it was basically just Garrett Wilson at that point before the trade. And I
Garrett
don't want to,
and Adone, dang.
dude. I,
Garrett and
he's doing
AD.
good this season and stuff like that, but it's just like Justin Fields hasn't been throwing too much. He hasn't been throwing too many touchdowns, and it's just like it looks so bad for the wide receiver room right now. Like it can also some of the fault can land on the wide receivers.
Man,
Um,
I was at work when the Sauce Gardner trade happened, and at
I
first I was like,
immediately started texting you. I was just like, dude, what is going on?
I know. I think I opened up my phone. I saw your message. I want to. You sent me it before ESPN even had it on breaking news. I looked at it. I was like, dog. And at first, I was like, dang, did they like? I didn't know what that meant for his contract. In my head, I'm thinking, dang, his contract like is out now. But then, of course, I realized I didn't know that the Colts took up on the contract and would pay it. So that's good for him. I would have been salty if my
What's
money
even
got took when I got traded.
what's even dumber for the Jets though is the fact that they gave him like an unstructured contract before trading him. Like almost all of his money was guaranteed. So they're still taking that cap hit
They are.
already.
I thought the Colts are taking it.
Well, it's probably going to the Jets because they're the one who negotiated the contract. It will probably go to the Colts, but I'd say that most of the money that the cap hit is going to for the Colts is probably like the money he's receiving year after year, not just the guaranteed money. I'd say most of it's falling on the Jets the way the contract is hitting for him because
Yeah.
it goes into 2026 and he's with the Colts now. I guess it makes a little bit more sense, but it still doesn't make sense at the same time because you just paid him. Like what?
I mean, this is good for Sauce though. He's leaving a situation that really wasn't looking too bright, and he's going to a brighter future. And he's reunited with his college teammate Alec Pierce
That's
out of
right.
UC.
I wanted to get your input on that. How does it feel, especially with the fact that that man had to
Man,
line up against him at Cincy every single
you
day for
know,
practice?
you know how that season was. We was freshmen,
Bro, the
man.
amount of times we called each other, we were so hyped after each win, even though I think the only like loss that one of the only losses that Notre Dame had was against UC, I believe. Um, I was like so hyped. I was in the I think one of the bars in Harrison with my dad when they won against East Carolina, and then they went up against Houston the next week. To obviously,
Man,
that was so insane, dude.
I was at my grandma's house and the TV was on. They was playing East Carolina. It's the Pirates, right? The purple
Yeah,
team.
the Pirates.
Yeah, they played them. I remember that game, and then I remember going. I was at home in my room watching the Houston game, and I remember they just man, that was a good game. That's 4 years ago.
Dude,
Dang,
time flies so fast.
that
And
season.
yet,
That's the
since he has a very good chance to still make it happen for the college football playoff this season, even
man.
though,
They're good this year. That Brandon Sorsby got it.
yeah,
He's one of them.
he's
He's one
definitely
of them.
got it. He might even stay. He might even stay for his for his redshirt senior season. I understand that it's obviously a little bit different since this should be his senior season right now, but he was redshirted as a freshman. He's got an extra year of eligibility to obviously work that out. And if
Get
he's
them
not
sweat
ranked
cups.
too high right now and all that sort of stuff, he might want to, prove to, people drafting, putting up mock drafts for next year even because I don't know what kind of freaks do that this early, especially with the fact that we're doing a way too early mock. We just did a way too early mock draft like 10 minutes ago. You know, It's
Man,
I definitely see him as a top candidate for QB for next season if he decides to stay. Um,
man, go UC. That's childhood team right there. That's my heart right there.
they
Bearcats.
they're definitely a team that I hold near and dear to my heart, even though I'm a diehard Notre Dame fan. Like they are definitely like my second favorite team.
Man, that's my team right there.
I just
Good for Sauce, man. Good for
yeah.
Sauce. He gets lining with Alec Pierce again. They can get each other right. That's a good situation right there.
And I'd say it's what made Alec Pierce so good enough for the NFL draft too. Like
Oh
imagine
yeah,
lining up against him for the Colts practice. Like he's Alec Pierce has been taking leaps every single year for the Colts. He's been getting better
he
and better each
cold.
season. Imagine what
Very
it would be
funny.
like if he could actually
Very
start beating
funny.
Sauce in some routes.
Man, and the way they probably got each other right for the league too. After class, going against each other on the field,
Oh
man,
yeah. That's
that's a
absolutely
good
insane. It winds up so well for both of them,
man.
especially
That's good,
especially for Alec.
man.
Um,
And Sauce, I met you. I met you in the mall when my freshman year. I met you. I was walking around. I met you at the mall, bro. But
I didn't
a
hear
couple
about
days after you
this.
got drafted, I still got the picture. I met you at the mall, man. You inspired me to play football my sophomore year.
Bro, I thought you only met Corey Connor. I was dead wrong. I did not know you met Sauce.
Wait, what?
I did
You
not
said,
know you met Sauce.
oh yeah. Wait, what you say about Corey Kiner?
I did not know. Like, I thought you only met Corey Kiner in general when it came to UC players. Like, like, as of like just knowing who you met in general.
Man, I met Sauce. I met a couple UC players, but like the one that really stuck out to me was Sauce. That's because I was probably older. When I was little, like I was a huge UC Bearcats basketball fan. So when I remember my mom, me and her, we would like do the stairs at Nippert. And I remember like we'll see like I saw a couple basketball players when I was little. I used to, be like, oh shoot, because I looked up to them. But Sauce, like I really looked up to him. He really inspired me to play football. They used to call me Sauce at practice and stuff, man. That was that was cool. That was a good time.
Are you sure they did that?
Oh
You're a
yeah, I
receiver, dog.
swear.
You're a receiver.
I played corner. My
I,
main thing was corner.
but weren't you a sub receiver?
I was like a sub receiver, yeah, but I didn't really care for receiver. I was always at the
Well, I
corner.
know because you dang near had 1,000 yards your JV year, but like the only problem was that you weren't getting touches in the end zone.
I did have 1,000 yards. I was doing good at corner though.
Hey, man, you know what? If you didn't have 1,000 yards, then that's just plain glazing for me. And you know what? I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Even though it sounds wrong, it sounds so wrong on so many levels. You know, it's fine.
Man,
But
my bad for sniffling, bro. The weather is whooping me.
oh yeah, no, I had something, a couple weeks back. I actually when I had my first episode with Rocky, I actually was in the middle of fighting an allergy attack, a nasal infection. So I'm surprised he didn't
Man,
notice, but I'm pretty sure I concealed it pretty well with the fact that I I thought I could breathe through my nose and all that sort of stuff. It didn't pick up or anything like that, but you could tell I did not feel well through the
man,
way I
I'm
was looking at the
sniffling and stuff.
camera.
Man, I'm sniffling. I'm making sure no boogers come out on camera. All right, what's the next one? That Quentin Williams trade.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Quinn Williams going from the Jets to the Cowboys, the Cowboys are beefing up their defense, but the Dallas
Move.
Cowboys are giving up quite a bit too. They're giving up probably a mid second, depending on how they're going to do next season. Or no, they're well, depending on how they do this season actually, because this is a 2026 second round, and then they're going to have the Jets are also going to have Dallas's 2027 first round pick, and then the Jets also receive Mozzie Smith, who's actually I feel like he's just such an underrated defensive lineman, depending on how you look at it. Like I get that I may be oversaturating that, but especially with the fact that he's like first round talent of Michigan and all that sort of stuff a couple of years back, but. I'd say he's been doing pretty well. He's been doing what he needs to. Um, but Quinn Williams is definitely one of the most underrated D linemen ever,
Yeah,
especially in the league right now. I'd say like people don't praise him enough for what it's worth. Like you obviously see some moments and highlights, but I think this when I texted this to you, I think we were both done with the trade deadline that day. we kind of just
Man,
we kind of just went to bed thinking nothing bad can happen. It's all over. But why was it just the Jets trading away everything?
man, I don't know. They probably was just like, we just gonna clean slate. The Jets probably we just gonna clean slate, knock everything out.
I mean, they're going through a full rebuild again. I can understand that, but it's just they just went through one. They were getting the assets they needed to. They just needed a couple more things like a quarterback and all that sort of stuff. They didn't need to trade away anything, honestly. Like they probably could have gotten a Mitchell without trading away
Creative.
Sauce or anything like that.
Yeah,
They could have. They definitely had enough cap space, more than likely at least, to actually pay him too. Like I still don't understand that, but it's
yeah.
what the Jets are going with. I just pray that they fire their head coach because I have a feeling that he's also the reason the Jets suck right now. Um, but what's your take with the Quinton Williams trade? Who do you think won in general?
Um, Cowboys. I feel like the Cowboys won. I think they added a piece that they needed. Um, I don't know what the Jets are doing right now. I can't speak on their behalf, but the Cowboys won this trade. They're gonna add pieces and they're gonna try to take care of business.
They trying to act like they're Philly right now. Trust in the process, my butt, dude. Oh man, but
This
it's
that wasn't
it's
the
not.
only trade. It wasn't the only trade.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
we got hit too. We got hit too,
we got
and
hit,
we got
but we
hit
knew
bad.
this. I feel like we knew this. We saw this coming though. We
We
saw this
saw this
coming,
after he got benched. We kind of were like, he's probably getting traded.
and there's none other than Logan Wilson. Logan
Yeah,
Wilson himself.
I can't believe it. He was so good in Cincinnati for so many years. It's kind of like Sam Hubbard. He played so well on the defense, then he kind of just fell off a cliff and all that sort of stuff. I thought he would have made his way back up the depth chart and actually started again. But it's just it was mind-boggling because I did not believe he would get traded at the trade deadline. I thought they would trade him a little bit earlier. But I woke up this morning looking at it. I was just like, and I had a Tuesday class. I had to wake up early in the morning, and I just looked at my phone and I was just like, man, I
Man,
just
they
wanted to go
freed up.
back to bed. I thought I was still dreaming.
I seen it. I knew it happened though. I saw it. I think I was at work again. I saw the trade happen, and I was like, "Yeah, we all seen this coming." But it frees
Yeah.
up money for the Bengals. Probably not too much. It only frees. I looked it up. It frees about $5.8 million for the Bengals.
You know what? That's
But
something. At the end of the day, it's something. It's
yeah,
not
it's
much. It's
something.
definitely not going to cover how much we're probably going to pay Trey Hendrickson, depending on if we're actually going to pay him. Uh, Like with the way it is right now, they said that they're not going to trade. They weren't going to trade him even through the trade deadline. So I have a feeling that either A, we're going to release him into free agency, depending on if he can actually, come back. And well, he is back now. He was injured for a couple of weeks. But
Yeah,
I'd say if he plays like he has been, and he plays like the underrated D lineman that he's always been noticed as, I'd say that we could definitely do a contract extension. We'd have to, trade away a few key pieces, and I have a feeling that it's going
gotta
to
free up money.
probably be somebody on defense. We're probably going to have to cut a few people on defense because I
Got
just
to, got to.
I don't see it happening for like T. Higgins. I don't see it happening for Jamar Chase. I don't see it happening for Burrow. I probably see Mike Gesicki getting traded because Noah Fant's been doing better than him, and Mike Gesicki is definitely a tight end that few teams might want. He's not in his prime anymore, but at the exact same time, he's definitely a piece that other teams can utilize, especially if they don't have a key role at tight end as of right now. I definitely see that happening. Um, but I'm not really sure what all they could, free up. I'd say Miles Murphy, definitely. Miles Murphy is terrible right now. He's been noticed as a rotational piece, and anytime he gets in the field, I think I just turn the TV back to something else. Yeah, I don't want to see that man play. I don't care if he was back into the first round talent or anything like that. What would surprise me though is if we trade away Dax Hill. You know, this he's been good. He's been good. I will admit. He's gotten what he needs. He's gotten the stats that he's need. He's kind of like with Mozzie Smith right now. He's underrated on the defense of where he's playing at, and yet people don't recognize that as much. And I really don't understand why. You know, he might give up a few catches, a few touchdowns here or there, but that's normal
That's
for
life,
any
bro.
cornerback. It makes
That's life.
sense. Yeah. You just gotta accept that for what it's worth. Like you're it's very rare you're gonna get a key piece like Sauce Gardner or PS2 or um I'm not sure if people talk about AJ Terrell anymore. You know, he was good for a few seasons. I think he's still pretty decent. Jesse Bates, after he left for the Bengals, I'd say he's been playing really well for the Falcons. He might have a few up and down games here and there, but you know, it's all in good fun for whatever
I think
teams they're playing for.
Bengals' main focus is just defense this off season. That's all we need. We got offense. Everybody knows this. It's repeated all over and over again.
It's just
Um,
it's a topic that won't stop getting discussed until we actually start seeing improvements. And
because we
speaking of
finna
the
discuss it now.
Bengals, dude, we gotta go into to the next section. This is definitely by far the longest podcast episode so far, but we're definitely covering the stuff that we need to. We might be going
Got
off
to.
topic, but it's still about the stuff we want to talk about. Is the Bengals season over right now? Or do you still see a world where they could somehow make a leap into the playoffs with what they've got left right now?
I don't see a playoff run. Honestly, I do not see a playoff run.
Even with Joe coming back?
He's not coming back. If I was Joe, I'd sit out. Honestly, because I'm not gonna come back from an injury, and then I feel like
He's
I
coming
know he's a
back
top.
December. And it feels a lot it
That's
feels like it's been 3 months
that's
already, but
law. That's law. He's coming into this in December.
yeah.
Like he said, like he's coming back December.
Well, that's what the Bengals said. That's what the whole front office said. That's what he said itself. It's going to take him like 3 months. I mean, it's just turf toe. It's not like he tore his ACL and he's going to be out for the entire season like he did his rookie season. But I
I
mean,
mean, if he
dude,
come back, if Joe, but this is the thing though, Joe Flacco and the offense have been taking care of business, but it's
they
just the
have. It's
defense.
just
They
the
put up
defense,
40 points.
and
They put up 40 points. Any team that puts up that amount of points should win the game regardless. But
like
it's
seriously,
just
I
the deep
don't get how we can't finish on offense
or on defense.
on defense.
It's just
Sorry, I was having
we,
Jake Browning flashbacks. I was saying that a lot, like the in the first few weeks of the season when Jake Browning was manning the offense. And I still can't get
and
over the fact that if we had Joe Flacco a little bit earlier and stuff like that, and he would have been able to man the offense a little bit earlier, like we probably could have had a better chance at making the playoffs.
but still, the how he can take care. They can take care of so much offensively. They can score record-breaking numbers on offense. Keep
It's
having this
just that
high-scoring
defense
game.
is so bad.
But that's the thing. You can see the players' frustration. Like you can
Jamar
see
Chase
Jamar's frustration walking in the
bad
tunnel.
mouthing Zach and all that sort of stuff about the O line and then the defense after a poor possession about a poor possession with the other with whatever team they're playing against, and then they've got T basically putting his life on the line, scoring 2 touchdowns this past week against the Bears, and yet that still wasn't enough to actually clean up for the Bengals. How do we come back from a 20-point deficit? Tell me this. How do we come back from a 20-point deficit against Chicago, of all people, and yet we blow the game away when we have 3 people covering Cole Kmet, of all people? Cole Kmet. Not
Rookie,
Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet.
rookie.
Uh huh. Uh huh. And we give up a touchdown.
That boy cold. Man, we just plugged them. But I mean, whatever's happening with the Bengals being on a football team, I know I was in high school, but still, like in the NFL, these players are top people.
You
So
got to
when they're in
cover
the,
like you're a professional cornerback. You can't be covering
but this
like
the
you're
thing, this is what I gotta say. These people are NFL players. They are miles better than us. They're miles better than college players. They're in the NFL. These are the top professional players in the country, da- dang near the world. And I feel like just having other pro players, just talk. Not they didn't talk crazy, but they letting their frustrations out on live TV. I feel like man, I don't want to. I wouldn't say egos, but like, dang, I'm being called, not good. I'm in the NFL. It's like I feel like that locker room dynamic's gonna be weird for sure. If like across the locker room, everybody's they starting to voice it now. They're not saying nah. They'll keep their head up on live TV like nah, like finish the game. Like it's crazy. It's
Like,
crazy.
come on, man. Like, it can't be this
But
difficult
it
to
gets to a point though. But I mean,
like. I feel as if they've been trying, even with what they've been doing and how they've been performing. I still see that there's definitely some players like Jordan Battle. He's having his breakout season right now. God bless him. I mean, he's practically one of the hidden gems in that defense right now, and I'd say that Trey
100.
Hendrickson right now is as well. Um, I
And
can't.
these players are all talented. They're all talented. It's just
Especially with Cam
something
Taylor
has
Britt getting benched. I never
yeah.
thought I'd see the day.
These players are talented. I don't even want to say I don't like earlier I said ego. I don't even think it's egos. It's just I don't even know. I don't even have the words. It's not egos. It's just
It's
I don't
so
know.
hard to
Frustration.
describe what goes on with the NFL because at the end of the day, it is a business. But you got to wonder like what all goes into like just like preparation for like even the players that don't perform well. Like they are probably trying their asses off just to, stay on the team that they're playing for, to actually make a roster spot even and to possibly even start. Like it's already
These are
bad
the
enough
top
for
players
them,
in the
but
world.
what's worse is the fact that it's probably not like any time that we get a new defensive piece or a new like I'll get into the O line in a bit because there's something I want to talk about that I found odd. But the defense, like I feel as if like there's just bad synergy between every single player on that defense, especially with the secondary. Like I don't know what it is about them, but it's just like we cannot get it done, especially when regarding like other teams' receivers.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a tough situation. I hope all those players on that team they can ignore all the negative energy that's getting thrown out and just take care of their job.
yeah, for sure.
It's hard to get to the NFL. And I'm not in the league, but I can't imagine just hearing air. I can't imagine walking around hearing people say the defense is trash and you're on the defense. Like it's gotta suck. So I hope they can, keep a strong head and just, stay focused.
Yeah, I'd say like God bless all their hearts. I mean, seriously, like they're going through so much adversity right now, especially with the way the team's looking, especially with how the fan base is reacting to loss after loss after loss, because they're so used to winning at this point, even though we used to be like a losing team maybe like 5, 6 years ago,
Yeah.
before, Joe Burrow entered and we went 2-14 that one season where we got the number one overall pick for him. Like I just
Then it's-
people who have been experienced as to being a fan of this team for longer than them winning should know that like this isn't exactly uncommon, but it's definitely something that's surprising, especially after we did all that winning, all like that Super Bowl run back in 2022.
Championship game one.
Like seriously,
This
like
year.
we went to back-to-back AFC championship games. Like we obviously didn't get it done against the Chiefs the second time around, but we got it done the first time around, and it's just so devastating. It's like
I
it
think
this
but the bar got. I'm sorry, I interrupted. My bad.
um I feel as if we are wasting so much talent on this team. And we need to make sure every player on this team is healthy. We need to make sure that like nothing bad can physically happen, as at least as much as it has been happening for a lot of players on the Bengals offense and defense. But what were you gonna say?
I feel like the bar got raised so high after that Super Bowl and championship game run, and then just the Bengals, just the luck of it just started happening. Injury, against the Ravens where he broke his hand or the something happened to his hand, Joe
Seahawks.
Burrow, and
Or
then
wait, no, it wasn't the. It was the Raiders,
it,
wasn't it?
it was the Ravens. It was the Ravens. He
Yeah.
remember he messed his hand up. He couldn't throw.
Oh yeah, no, that was prime time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Thursday
and
night
then
prime time.
I forgot. No,
It
I
was
think it was a
Thursday. I
prime
think
time. I think it was like a
it,
Sunday game.
it was either Sunday or Thursday. I can't remember which one.
And then, the game season after that, we couldn't get a win in. We just kept digging ourselves in holes and we had to dig ourselves out and it didn't work out. It was just so much going on. But you know, that's one thing about us. Like we will never give up on our teams. We can say they're bad or all that, but at the end of the day, we'll always support our Bengals. They're at the end of the day, they're gonna stack that stadium up. At the end of the day, next year that stadium's gonna be filled up. 2 years from now, as long as they got these top players, they stacking that stadium up.
You better not be jinxing
So
me right now, dude. You better not. Them tickets gonna be them tickets gonna be gonna be cheap.
we'll see. I don't. We'll
It
see.
depends on who we draft, I'd say. Like and
Yeah,
like who we're scheduled against next season. Like I'm pretty sure we know the opponents. We might actually no, the opponents we get told the opponents, I think, after the Super Bowl, directly after or after
yeah.
our season ends. Um, and then we don't get the full schedule until I think like the first Thursday of May, I believe, second
We'll
Thursday.
see.
But the final topic for today, we're going to switch up. We're going to stop with all the negativity about the Bengals, about the NFL, all that sort of stuff. You know, we've been dogging on everything football so far this podcast, but we want to shine some light, and we're going to shift our focus over to the Dodgers because they just won the World
Big
Series.
man, that was a good game right there. You watch Game 7?
Oh yeah, I watched Game Seven. You know, I was with a couple of my buddies. I was in one of the common areas for our dorm hall. You know, it was fantastic. It was a fantastic game. Even though I wanted Toronto to win, I definitely think the Dodgers they wanted it more, and I definitely think that they had more pieces that than the Blue Jays
Somebody
overall.
said it on somebody said it online. It was like if this game was played 100 times, the outcome would have been 50-50. Like this is a
Yeah,
great series. I was watching it.
there was that game
That one
that ended until
and
3 a.m., 18 overtimes.
it was still packed. Those fans are so dedicated. It was still packed. I would be too. I
No,
know
they
the
were
World
probably
Series,
drunk and they just didn't realize that the game was still going on.
man. But I know it's the World Series, so the tickets probably 500
They
a
were
pop. Man,
skyrocketed.
I'm staying until everything is over with. I'm staying. I
I'm
will be the
pretty
last
sure
person
it
out.
was 36 grand just to have like a suite a chance to actually use one of the suites at the Blue Jays home stadium just
Bro,
for the World
36
Series alone, just for
grand.
one game.
36 grand, bro. Put a
They must be having some really good champagne there. Canada must be doing it different with their wine or their beer.
bro,
Free beer
man. I was
for all the fans, you know, whoever buys the tickets.
this series solidified me. Freddie Freeman is one of the goats of all time. I'm lagging right now. I can see myself lagging, but Freddie Freeman is one of them clutch players. Like two walk off and back to back World Series, two walk off home runs, bro.
Dude, I don't even know how I can't remember the last time I've seen that at all.
Two
I'm
back to back walk offs.
yeah,
The first one was already rare, and then you dropped the second one, dog. Come, bro.
that's
He is one of
something that
them.
you never see.
He
I
is one of
guarantee you
them.
the last time that probably happened was back in the 40s at least.
I don't even know if that's ever happened though, because remember the first time he did it, the first game one, that was the first time it ever happened in the World Series, a walk off home run. Yes, and then he does it back to back.
Yeah, I got to brush up on my
Hold on,
MLB
let me
knowledge.
fact
I
check
can't lie
myself.
with you.
Let me fact check myself before I sound crazy.
Yeah, because we're not the best at knowledge when it comes to, you know, baseball and all that sort of stuff. We'll watch it. and stuff like that. We know, all the positions, but it's just I'm not personally familiar with the rosters. I tried to get myself into baseball. I still am. It's just it's really hard when you're focusing on like new players coming into places like the NFL, the NCAA, basketball, football, and
Yeah,
just the NFL in general. Um,
yeah.
so it can be very hard to actually like just keep up with three sports all at once, especially with hockey and
Yeah.
stuff. I tried doing hockey too. Yeah,
Hockey?
it got to a point. Yeah, I was a Minnesota Wild fan. Our defense was nuts, but we could not do anything in the playoffs. We could not. We sucked. I think I lost faith after our loss to the St. Louis Blues back in 2023, I believe. Yeah, it was a pretty dark time, but uh, I did not want to root for Columbus. I I I don't think anybody wants to root for Columbus. They have a history of sucking. Um,
Man.
um, but I do you think personally the Dodgers have the pieces still lined up? If everything goes
Yes.
according to plan, they don't lose anything, any key pieces or anything like that. They definitely have something lined up to where they could three-peat.
Yes. And I think that if they do three-peat, I think they'll go about against the Toronto Blue Jays again. Honestly, just
That yes was so resounding. Your camera started shaking.
bro, they got first of all, we're from Cincinnati, so we got, you know,
The
the
red
great Pete
story
Rose.
about
We got the great Pete Rose, born, not too far from where the city's small, not too far from where we live, just to be honest, like for real.
yeah. Like we're both
Um,
close. We're both very close to the stadium. Like I'm about like 20-minute drive, 15-minute
yeah.
maybe.
So honestly, it hurts me saying this because we know Pete Rose is from our city, but dog, the Dodgers and Shohei Otani is one of them. All right, he's one of them, and he's shown it. Um,
He's
just with his
Shohei
performances,
Ohtani.
bro. Huh,
I tried to make it fun.
bro. Shohei is one of them, and um, they're gonna three-peat. Freddie Freeman, Shohei Otani, Mookie Betts. They they got
That
it.
that
I
big
feel
three is there. If one piece goes off, the whole team probably falls apart. I can't lie. Like
you
they're
think?
still like they don't fall off the face of the earth, but it's just like they definitely are gonna like if they lose a key piece like Mookie Betts or Shohei or Freddie Freeman, then I have a feeling like they'll get past the first round. They'll probably lose if they lose a key piece like that. There's no doubt in my mind that they'll still make the playoffs, but
Yeah,
and I wouldn't go as far as to say is like they'll if they lose a key piece, they'll be so bad to where they'll only get a wild card spot or something like that. I would never disrespect them like that. Like they as of from where they are right now, they're unbelievable.
yeah. I can see them three-peating. I can see them. No, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna. I can see them three-peating.
What were you gonna say? No, I don't think I want to watch that. I can understand because I hate the Chiefs with all my life. Did not want to see them three-peat. Thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah,
Dodgers, I can, you know what? I can sit down, I can watch it, I can understand. Three-peating for them is definitely something worth watching.
when
It
was the
doesn't
last
matter
time they
what.
three-peated? When was the last time there's a three-peat in professional sports?
Let me see. MLB, it probably hasn't been long. It was back in
Lakers,
1998
L.A.,
to
L.A.
1998 to 2000 for the New York Yankees. They three-peated.
I'm talking about just professional sports in general.
Professional
The
sports and
Lakers. the Lakers, the LA Lakers was the last three-peat. So
Oh
LA, I
yeah,
mean, if LA can three-peat again in two major sports, dog, I mean,
but it wasn't far behind, the Yankees. I mean, they were right
true.
against them in terms of when they three-peated.
So that's a good man. Well, man, that sports has been great recently.
Yeah, we've seen some legendary stuff. We've been hit with heartbreak more times than I think we can count with our 10 fingers. Um, and I just say it was a good week of sports overall so far. And it's probably going to get even better for tonight because tonight we do have a primetime game. Um,
Thursday.
Thursday night primetime, and I've actually watched a video over it where it's just like Thursday night primetime might just need to be moved to somewhere like Friday. Friday night primetime probably would be better. It'd give them more time to prepare. It would actually give them time to rest too.
Yeah,
Because
they.
Thursday night primetime is so rushed. It results in like games that's like poorly drawn out from coaches, from players, all that sort of stuff. You just see so many more like mistakes happen on Thursday night primetime, I feel like. And primetime right now, it is Raiders going against the Broncos at Mile High Stadium. I think we all know who's winning that one.
Yeah.
If I see an upset, I'm I'm gonna be a little bit surprised.
Hey, it's the NFL. These players,
It's
these are the top
possible.
players in the
It's
world,
possible.
man.
I'm
These
not
are the
putting
top
it out of the
players in the
question, but I'm just going to be surprised if it does happen.
world. Man, we'll see.
Oh
We'll
yeah.
see.
But Jordan, that is going to be all for today. With all that has happened for this episode, do you think you see yourself becoming the co-host?
Hey, man, that'll be a blessing. That'll be a blessing. That'll be a blessing.
Well, you know what? You're hereby RSL's very first and probably only co-host.
That'll be fire, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm gonna probably have to update that channel banner. Rowan Sports Lounge with Jordan. Uh,
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
it's kind of like it's kind of like Draymond Green when he went on that one talk show, or I think he was with the he went on with Steph Curry, and he was just like, I'm here with everybody from LA and the Clippers." Um, but yeah, it's an absolute honor to finally have you on for the first time, and hopefully for quite a few more episodes because we've got a bunch of stuff lined up. It's this podcast. It ain't going into the ground anytime soon. This is something I'm super passionate about. I know you're passionate about talking about sports with me. We'll definitely go in more depth about that and stuff like that, and why I even considered you as to be a potential co-host because people don't really know the type of connection that we've personally had. Like a lot of people
Yeah,
watching and all that sort of stuff, family and family specifically, they'd understand and all that sort of stuff. But friends specifically, a lot of people here in Miami, they don't really understand the story about us and
man, for sure.
how much of a connection we've had over the years. So we're definitely going to go into that next episode when we have, you know, a lot more time, a lot more stuff to go over. It's probably going to be spent even longer than this episode. This episode is over an hour. This is the first hour long podcast episode. So this is definitely something I told people on social media. This is definitely something worth watching. I rehauled, all the transitions, all that sort of stuff. I hoped everybody liked it. If you did, please hit us with a like, maybe a subscription, maybe comment down below what we can improve on and stuff like that. And we'll obviously see you guys in the next episode. Jordan,
Man,
anything else to say?
no, man, just support Ron, man. Support my dog, man. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.